First one is 8. Answer to this one is 33. You have to move this to the right side and change the operation to plus, so you come up with plus 1. That'll give you a 25. Divide 25 by 5 to get 5. Alright, so if you have to subtract 2 from the right side, that'll give you 36, and 6x equals 36, so x must be 6. Last one. Alright, you have to move this to the other side, so it becomes plus 3. 15 plus 3 is going to be 18. You will divide that by -2 to get an answer of -9. Multiple choice, block letter only. Find the x-intercept. Alright, for this problem, if you want to find the x-intercept, all you need to do is get rid of the y term. 3y equals 12, so y must be 4, which is D. Here is the objective for today. You're going to create an equation and graph it on a coordinate plane with labels and scales. The labels and scales part of this will probably take place tomorrow, but you have to create it today. Here's example 1. A monthly cell bill is calculated by the following charges. Each customer will pay a flat fee of $40 per month plus 50 cents per minute for each minute over 300 minutes. Create an equation, there is no D here, that represents this billing cycle and graph it using your own scale. Well, if I'm going to create an equation and I have to graph it, then what form must that equation be in? Sloped intercept, yes. So what is slope-intercept form?
Something multiplied by x
plus. Something multiplied by x plus.
Number equals y.
There is an equals in it, but it's here. The equals would be right about there. What's the rest of it? Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Yes. That's the form we're going to need it in so we can graph it. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, you're a cell phone customer and your bill, regardless of how many minutes you use, will never be below $40. That's the minimum fee. So if I do some calculations with minutes, and then I come up with what I owe for the minutes, what do I have to add on to that bill? Well, no, I've already done my calculations for minutes. Let's say I've already done calculations for minutes. What would I have to add on to it? Yeah. $40. Yes, I would have to add $40 to it so that my bill is always a minimum of $40. Where would I put the $40 in the equation? If I put it in front of x, that's going to be my slope, and I would go up, over, and 1, up 40 and over 1. It would be plus 40, right, because I'm never going to have to multiply $40 times anything, because it's just $40 per month, a flat fee, and what you're calculating here is what it's going to cost for a month. So I would have to put my $40 at the end. Okay, so I've added this in. Now I have to calculate the minutes. In this problem, if I go over 300 minutes, I've got to pay 50 cents per minute. what would happen if I had 400? If I used 400 minutes, how far over did I go?
100 minutes.
100 minutes, and I have to pay 50 cents per minute on that. So what would I owe for the minutes?
$50.
$50, right. So what if I use 700 minutes? How many minutes did I go over?
400.
400, and I'd have to multiply that 400 by what?
50.
50 cents. So what's 400 times 50 cents?
200.
$200. So what is changing all the time? What could be different from month to month? The minutes what? Used. So what do we need to let represent the minutes used? M is the slope.
X.
The slope is constant. It's not going to change, but X will change. It's a variable. Okay, so let's X equal the minutes used. Okay, so then where would my 50 cents go?
1/2 X.
You could make it 1/2 X, or you could just leave it as 0.50. So if we leave it in a money form, we'll know where it came from. Alright, so let's do a little test here. Over here on the right, we're going to test our cell bill program. First, I'm going to tell you that I've used 400 minutes. So how far did I go over? 100, and I multiply 100 by 50 cents, and how much money is that? $50 for the minutes, and how much do I have to pay anyway? What's my minimum fee? 40, so 50 plus 40, 50 for the minutes and 40 for the monthly fee. I have 90. Okay, so now if it works out to be 90, then I should be able to plug in the 300 minute, or not the 300, but the 400 minutes that we used for this example I just read off. If we plug in that 400 minutes right here, we should get the same thing. So what's 400 times 0.5? 200. What's 200 plus 40?
240.
Oh my, something's wrong. We didn't get 90. So now we have to figure out what went wrong. So in this equation here, we multiplied 400 minutes by 50 cents. So what's wrong? Yes.
You multiplied by 400 instead of just multiplying by 100.
I've got to multiply by only the number of minutes that are over 300, right? Okay. So we have to have an equation that represents this, that lets us crunch it each time. Yes.
So would it be 0.5 times the quantity of x minus 300?
That's right. Each time you put in the minutes used, which is x, you have to take 300 away from it, because that will give you the minutes used. She's right. So we have 50 cents times the quantity, which is the minutes. This whole quantity represents the overage. How many minutes you went over your 300? And then you add the 40 on the end. Yeah.
So on everything, every equation you do, you always gotta have like, what's that negative 300 mean? The minutes?
That means that whenever you put in the minutes you use, the x means that's the minutes used, and the minus 300 will give us how many minutes over 300 you went. So that if I put a 500 in here and subtract 300, it gives me 200 back. That's how far over I went.
And then we times that by 50.
Then you multiply that by 50. Yeah.
Do you do that every time you have like a problem like this? You always do that negative and then I remaining you have?
In this particular case, yes. You could have some that are a little different. You could have tiered problems where if you go over by 100 minutes, you pay 50 cents. Or if you go over by 200 minutes, then it becomes 60 cents a minute. But we're not going to do those for right now. We're just going to stick with this. Not yet. We're not even done with this one yet. Because how am I going to graph this?
1/2 X minus 300 plus 40.
What's the slope?
1/2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he's right. The slope, m, is 0.50. What's the y-intercept?
Plus 40?
It is?
No. I don't know.
We don't know because usually the y-intercept is the only number at the back end of the slope-intercept form. How many numbers do we have back there?
2?
You have 2. So you have to do the following. What operation plus or add, subtract, multiply, or divide is between this number and that parenthesis? Multiply, yes. So I have to multiply 0.5x or 0.5 by x. What is 0.5 times x?
We don't know.
Well, you can make something that represents it. 0.5 times, what if I had 3 times x? What's the answer? So what's 0.5 times x? 0.5x. So in this case it's 0.50x. And then you have to multiply the 0.50 by the minus 300. What is that?
Your y-intercept.
Well, what is 0.5 times 300?
150?
Yeah, so we'll have minus 150, and then we still have the 40 at the end. Now, can we graph this? No. What do we need to do next?
Take negative 150 and add 40 to it.
That's right, negative 150 plus 40. What is that?
Negative
190.
110.
Negative 110, yeah. So here's your equation. Y equals 0.5x minus 110. Let's test this equation here with what we had for our original troubleshooting problem up here. Remember that in the troubleshooting problem I gave you out loud, it was 400 minutes that I used. And we calculated that my bill would be $90. So let's go back down here and try 400 again. Put in 400 right here, multiply it by 0.5, and then subtract 110. What do you get? 90. Is that what we had up front? Yes, so we have the right equation now. Example 2. A monthly cell bill is calculated by the following charges. Each customer will pay a flat fee of $50 per month plus 35 cents per minute for each minute over 400 minutes. Create an equation that represents this billing cycle. We will graph it later on. What do I start with? Okay, y equals mx plus b. And where does the $50 monthly fee go?
Where B is at.
Where the b is at. Okay. And what about the 35 cents?
Where M is at.
Where the m is, right? 35 cents. So I have my equation and I'm finished, right? No, we are not finished. What's wrong with this?
You don't have B represented.
You don't have it represent those two.
Yeah, x is not, x represents the number of minutes used. It does not represent the number of minutes used over 400. So what must I do to change that?
Do the subtract the
And quantity.
subtract 400 from it.
Subtract 400 from x. That's right. Okay, so now I'm finished. I can graph this, right? No. What must I do?
Gotta multiply it.
Simplify down to the y-intercept.
Yeah, simplify this. We have to multiply through. 0.35 times x is 0.35x. What's 0.35 times minus 400?
140.
Minus 140, yeah, and then we have our plus 150. What is this back end here simplified?
90 minus 135 x minus
Yeah, 0.35x minus 90. Okay, let's make sure it actually works. Let's go back up here, and I'm just going to pick something out. I have used 1,000 minutes in 1 month. How far over did I go? 600. So what's 600 times 0.35? $210 plus my monthly fee. So my bill should be $260 if I used 1,000 minutes. Let's go down here and check that. Down here at the bottom, let's put in 1,000 right there. What's 1,000 times 0.35? 350. And then minus 90 from the equation there is what? Is that what we had up top?
Yes.
Yes, so it does work out. This is the equation you must use. Find the equation for this example. On the practice problem, you must start with y equals mx plus b. And since you're paying a fee of $60 per month minimum, that should go at the end of it. So we add in the 60 at the end. Then it's 20 cents per minute. So we'll put 20 cents in place of the x. But the x is going to be the minutes used. It is not the minutes used over 600. You have to create an expression for that. And that expression would be the minutes you use minus 600. And then we have the plus 60 at the end. We cannot leave it this way. So we must multiply this by each item inside the parentheses to get 0.20x minus 120. And then plus 60 at the end. If you simplify these two, you'll have 0.20x minus 60. The answer should be 3. Answer to this one is 4. The answer to this one should be 3.
Talking about straight talk until is
For the practice problem, you should have y equals 0.10 times the quantity x minus 400, and then plus 50. When you work it out, it's 0.10x minus 40 plus 50. And the final answer should be 0.10x plus 10.